for the most time of my life, like growing up, we moved around a lot. So I know, oh, how do I say, like it was, I remember living in different places essentially, and finding like a stable place was something really difficult for my parents. And finally, when we found something, um, it was still like, it wasn't our property, so it was still owned by someone else. And I remember growing up as a kid having, luckily it was a good friend of my dad's, kind of lending us his house for like 10 years. I didn't see much of my parents struggle, and I think it was more because they just didn't want me to know. My parents made me get really involved in like school, so I did a lot of sports, a lot of activities. So I didn't really, by the time I would get home, it would just be like, okay, I'm gonna do my homework and fall asleep and wake up in the morning and do it all over again. So, and even in middle school, when you're supposed to like enter school at like 9 in the morning, where you thought you could sleep in, I was there at 7, doing the little tutoring class, and then from there, hanging around with other kids and stuff like that. Because my parents, their work schedules are really tough as well, so they couldn't like, drop me off at the time that they wanted to, or that I could, that I'm supposed to start school. It always had to be earlier, and then I always had to like do activities or stay busy in the afternoon until my parents would get out of work, like, 5, 6 o'clock, and then from there go home and so on and so forth. Well, my parents were really big about going to church and the religious aspect. So when it was more going out with my church friends, my parents were always perfectly fine with me going out, but the financial means wasn't there for me to, go to the movies or something like that. So I always had my church friends kind of like pay for me to go. And it was kind of one of those things where um, it was great, but at the same time, it was kind of one of those things where I felt like different. And I felt that the only way to be successful and to, have a life of my own, and at the same time take care of my parents, would be to go to college, get a great education here at the University of Florida, and then from there kind of give back to them and what they've done for me for the past, 20 years. They're extremely proud. I think it's one of those things where they won't tell me that they talk about me, but I, especially kind of like now in my involvement in school and even with FOS and having, I think in one of the other events that I participated in, I had my mom come. And there was this one point in time where the host of the event decided to actually like recognize her. And it was kind of like one of the proudest moments as a parent for her, um, because, here's my mom who's, raised me for, all my life, and in a room full of 300 people kind of just standing and sorry and honoring her for the work that she's done for me was really touching for her, but it was actually really inspiring for me, because I didn't like, you don't realize how much your parents have worked hard until you have other people, especially 300 people, um, acknowledge that. So it was, I think all my work here at the University of Florida has helped kind of them see what their work, like what they've done in my life, as far as like raising me and showing me the the right way, and realizing the true value of a college education.
You can help bring the dream of a University of Florida education within reach for many other Florida students who will be the first in their families to earn a college degree. After all, everyone deserves a better tomorrow.